Ladies and gentlemen, we are back! Back for another episode of the Draxx Life podcast, where we'll chat about some of the weird and the wondrous. Let's get to the show.
So my roommate was like sleeping just like this, like how can I express this? Like just like because not everybody gonna see us, like if it's gonna be
So arms crossed like a vampire.
arms crossed like vampire, and it's like straight up, all body, doesn't move at all, and
Really?
you just see him at, like night sleeping that way, and he's waking up that way. It was like so weird guy, man. We called him mommy, like.
Yeah, it's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're recording now. Sorry, we kind of slept into this conversation. But I have with me Bobby A, as usual, my constant companion. And we have the Turkish marauder, Burcin. And we're going to be talking about... He's like, what is a marauder?
What you say? Turkish what?
The Turkish marauder.
Mm-hmm.
You got to explain this to me, man. No idea.
The marauders, I mean, that term would be... Just imagine you're ancient peoples. You're on a horseback and you're entering a village with a bow and arrow on your back, a sword at your side, coming in for conquest and destruction.
It's Conan.
Yeah,
Barbar Conan.
Yes, kind of like Conan the Barbarian, kind of.
Yeah,
Conan the Barbarian.
Yes, he would be a marauder.
You're like a warrior, like a raider, but you're in to sack the town.
But this Turkish marauder.
Pillage.
He comes with gifts of love and peace. He's turned away from his warrior ways, and he's now on a pilgrimage of knowledge.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Burcin. He is a legend, man. He's coming to us from Florida. In the background, you're going to hear the sounds of a busy home. You're going to hear from his wife in the background, his young child, and I have Bobby A, who's watching. This is the first time we're actually seeing each other as we do this.
Yeah.
He has hockey on in the background, which whenever you hear Bobby A, assume that there's a sporting event going on in the background.
It's USA against Canada.
His Kramer hair has gone wild.
Yes, I wasn't prepared for a video conference for the
bigger
audience.
And higher than it's ever been. Full of Puerto Rican cushion.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like when I look at Robert, it looks like we connected to him. He's in like another studio, and we're just talking about the hockey game. He's like explaining the game to us. You know?
Oh yeah,
a pundit. He looks like he looks like it right now. Like definitely.
Yeah, he's like a sportscaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say like a pundit. I'll give my analysis of the first period in a little bit, but there. Yeah, but how are you, Burcin?
Yeah, give us the download.
Yeah, well, I am so busy. Extremely busy. I never been busy like that because it's Christmas, I guess. Sell things. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I'm enjoying Florida winter. Second time in my life. It's good. What else? Busy, man. Very busy. You know, like I'm so busy. I'm so tired these days. I don't know. I have a lot of complaints.
How's the family doing?
Family's fine. You know, Mars is growing. You know. Family is good.
Yeah, happy. Speaking of hair, you have a new haircut, and Mars has his hair is so long.
You gotta reframe this, man. This is not called haircut.
Oh, you're good. It's just your bald.
There is no hair here, man.
It's a little bit. So you know what's the best? You know where all the footballers go to like get their hair retrained. You know, Bridget. They all go to Istanbul. Yeah, like to regrow their hair. Remember Wayne Rooney? So Chris, a lot of
athletes,
hair transplant. Correct. Uh-huh. A lot of athletes that are like losing their hair all go to Turkey because there's like a special. Yeah,
Turkey is the Mecca, man.
I mean, Burcin could probably explain it better.
The center of health tourism. This a lot of Europeans, Americans come too. You know, for this health. We call this health tourism. I don't know, like they bring people from overseas.
Health tourism.
Health tourism, yeah. Like so, they give you a package. You know, like let's say you're gonna get a cosmetically like teeth operation, right? Like you're gonna get a veneer, you gotta get it like something. And if that thing costs you like, I don't know, I'm just making up a number, I don't know shit. It's like, let's say 10K, right? And they come to you and they say like, hey, we can offer you like 4K. You'll come Turkey, the hotel, everything is included. You're gonna stay 1 week and everything. So just gonna get like what you need to get, like cosmetically, and you go back, and it's like clean and everything. So Turkey gets a lot of tour. We call this tourism. I don't think it should be tourism, but we call this like health tourism. So yeah, a lot of, like as you said, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of soccer players and everything, like a lot of like rich Arabs, like Saudis, like they come, like you can if you go to Istanbul airport, you would see people like this like bandages, like they just got an operation and they're going back to their countries. So it's very common in Turkey.
Yeah,
Did not know that. So
a
that's a
little
common
tidbit.
thing amongst footballers. They go there to get they get hair implants.
Yeah, a lot of famous ones too.
Yeah.
They instead of just going bald, because sometimes there's going to come a point where you either get this transplant or you just got to shave your head and just go.
Oh yeah,
bald.
that's in my destiny. I know. That's why I've decided I've begun to grow the beard
I see that's coming back.
in preparation for when
I
this
like
goes.
your beard because it's like it's darker than your actual hair. I'm the reverse. My beard is red and my hair is dark. You have a
right.
really dark beard.
You can't see
Yeah.
it because it's shadows. I'm starting to get
exactly.
the white in the beard.
How long is the beard right now, Chris?
Can you? I mean, can you see?
Yeah.
No, no, I mean, wrong question. How old is the beard right now? Like, how long you been growing?
6 months, maybe 3 months.
6
4 months.
months.
But I got it
Yeah.
trimmed and cleaned. It was kind of
No,
like
I was gonna say, man, it's impossible. 6 months, you should be like, you would have like longer beard for sure.
maybe I don't know, maybe 3-4 months. I don't know. It's like it's maybe that long. If you can
Yo,
see.
put a cap on, man. Put a cap on with a star. You can be Che Guevara in the next one, with that beard.
Oh yeah. No.
There we go.
I'm gonna call him Chris Hardy. That's the look
There
you should
we
be going
go.
for.
So we've so this was for today's subject. This was something that Robert Avery had reminded me of, that we had at one point on an old episode. I think it's when we talked, the three of us, about hallucinogens, which we need to do again because some things have changed.
I did
Oh my
DMT,
God.
Burcin. I did DMT.
Oh yeah, did you know this?
I didn't think I
We
told you.
talk. We talk. No, we
You
talk.
did. I
You
did
don't
tell you.
remember.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's an episode where we talk about his DMT experience, which was pretty interesting. But Robert reminded me that we had on the books to talk about your pedicab days.
That's what I want.
And that's what the focus, we could talk about many things, but the focus of today was to see if you could regale us with some of your escapades as a pedicab driver. And I prepared you for this, so this is not a surprise. You know that.
Yeah, you're not getting blindsided.
So for those of you who are listening, right, first pedicab, unless you're from New York or from Asia or India or probably Turkey, you're like, what is a pedicab? Right, a pedicab is essentially it is a chariot where instead of a horse, you have a human being on a bicycle pulling someone. So if you ever visited New York and you go into Central Park, you'll see a bunch of guys lined up, and usually many of them are from another country, and they will try to get you to jump into their cab, and they will ride you around Central Park and parts of New York, and will tell you stories and tell you maybe some of the sights. And for when Burcin moved into the city, this was his first real job. And he did this for a number of years.
Correcto. Yeah.
And it's a wild world, the pedicab life.
It should have its own documentary or like comedy series, in my opinion.
They should do that because it's kind of like the classic of New York right now, right? Whoever has been living in New York for like, let's say like 10, 20 years, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That's the part of the city. It's not everywhere though. It's like only in Times Square, only around Central Park. But it's kind of, you know how it started? I don't
No
know,
idea.
but like this is not like that I know, but it's a rumor. When 9/11 happened, the subway system was collapsed or whatever, like not working. So some guys came up with an idea of this pedicab, this bicycle taxis, just to move people around. But
All right.
again, like I wasn't here that time. You guys might know better, but that's what I was told.
I have no
I
idea. That's the
yeah,
first I've ever heard that.
that's interesting. I didn't really go into Manhattan that much when I was in high school. This was like 2001, 2002. Yeah,
Okay. But in my
I didn't know.
story though, like I came from Turkey, right?
Yeah.
And I was about like 25 years old, not 40. Oh shit.
Are you
And
40? Congrats. Happy
yeah,
birthday, man.
man.
I didn't know that you turned 40.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fucking rights. How does that feel?
I feel same.
Yeah,
That,
that's right.
yeah, what is it? Same.
Yeah, I know.
Uh, I don't know, 40. We will see. It's still new.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I was like 25 years old. I came to New York. I didn't have money. Like I don't know what to do. I don't know English. Da, 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 da. So I decided to go to some restaurants, like to look for job, and what kind of restaurants I can go, like Turkish restaurants, right? Like Turkish restaurants. I knocked maybe every door, like every door in Manhattan, all the Turkish restaurants, and most of them saying like like we need English, we need like the experience. And then that time I had a girlfriend, a Turkish girlfriend, and his brother was doing this. And then like we just got connected, and he says like, do it. And I start doing pedicab, yeah, and I did quite a while actually. I did like 3-4 years,
It was a
and
long time, longer than I thought.
on and
Fucking
off,
awesome.
but yeah, on and off. But I did like 3 years or whatever. I always extended it. I don't know, like because until like up to my third year in America, I was always thinking that I was gonna go back. So it was a good job for like just staying here temporarily, like do like, and then my main purpose was to learn English, and I did a little bit. So I was gonna go back, and then the story changed, and Pedicab story changed too. But in this meantime, it like I fell in love. Like so, I was gonna go to Turkey. I bought my airplane ticket and everything. Like I was ready to go. Like I packed up. I told my family and everything. Then I met my. I didn't meet my wife. I already met my wife that time, but I was
Okay.
ready to. Like she was not my wife that time, right? Like she was just girlfriend, but we just were like starting new. Like it's like first couple of months or whatever, and I
Mhm.
was gonna leave her behind. And I
Wait.
did mushrooms.
Yeah, I
Oh.
was gonna say I know this story.
And I did mushrooms, yeah.
I know what
But
happens to
anyway,
as mushrooms.
basically this is my how I started in America, like basically
Burcin,
how
does
I
she
started.
know? Does she know this story? I
Yeah, she
forget if
did.
you
She
told her.
knows. She
Okay,
knows.
you
She
know.
knows. She knows, but she doesn't understand really because she didn't do mushrooms. Actually, we're gonna do it together. We decided. We
Oh
just
yeah,
we just
Nice.
could like actually last 2 days we were talking about it. We just couldn't find a time like Mars sleeps and we make sure he's not gonna wake up. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's hard, man. It's like you gotta like you gotta spend like you gotta be out like 5-6 hours, man. You don't like I don't wanna fail with my son around.
No, of
Hmm.
course, and that
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe this is something where you'll need a friend will come and babysit, and then you guys
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
do
yeah.
this.
We'll figure out. But anyway, she
Yeah,
knows and she wants to do it actually because I told her like everybody needs to do it, man. Once in a lifetime, whatever. Like just do
Yeah.
it. Like if you
Agreed.
don't like it, don't like it, but you will like it, I guess.
Yeah.
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 It'll be a good experience. You might not ever do it again, but it'll probably be of
Yeah.
value
I
to
think
some degree.
it's worth it. Correct. Yeah.
But go
Definitely.
ahead, continue. So yeah, so you had this experience. Your
Where
plans
was I?
changed.
Should I go back to pedicab or what should I do right now?
You have to
I feel
tell
like
us
this.
what was the seminal moment in that trip.
You're gonna go back to the
Oh,
moment.
I mean, we don't have to go if it's too personal. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Well,
can move on.
it
Yeah.
was it was my first time ever experience with psychedelics,
All right.
and in my situation, I was ready to go. got an airplane ticket, moved back to Turkey, not gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't know that. Well,
one night we decided to do shrooms, like just like organically happened. Like we didn't decide. We were getting some weed, and the guy said like, "Hey, we have this," and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And I didn't know anything about it. It was just fun for me. Like at the beginning, oh shit, the lights are changing. Oh, like because it was not like deep, like kind of a deep environment, like a lot of people around. I
Yeah,
was
it's
not
more
focusing. Like
social, more
yeah, yeah,
party-ish.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We went out. We try to go to store. Say another crazy story. Like you never go out. You never go shop with like.
I, I
And
know this story. This is the cigarette story, isn't it?
that story is fucked up, man. That story is fucked, dude. We said like, oh, we have no cigarette. Let's go out buy some cigarette, and we are like just tripping balls, man. Like just like full on shrooms. Like I cannot understand like what's reality, what's going on, like a lot of things. Anyway, we went to the store. It's like grocery store we always go. There is a Korean cashier lady, like young lady, and I was gonna ask like cigarette, right? Dude, this lady's head like start growing, like big head is like talking to me, and I cannot focus. Like she understands too, like I'm failing, and then I manage it. I asked the cigarette, right, and she was ready to give me, and I realized I have no money, and she says like, "You have a card?" I went to the bank, this ATM machine. Dude, I don't know. It's like I was tripping very balls, I guess. I don't know. This machine, like I put the card, the machine comes up, the screen just pops up like a hologram. Like I can see all the buttons, like I can click it. And I'm like looking, I'm like, what? Like first time in my life, like what's going on? We couldn't manage it, man. We couldn't take the money from the ATM anyway, so we couldn't manage it. And I told the lady, like the cashier lady, just give me the cigarette, please. I'll come back. Like I'll come back. Like you know me, I'll come back. I cannot explain it to you right now, but give me the cigarette, please. Like she was like, okay, just take the cigarette, it's fine. Like you guys can go. Anyway, next day I come back. I said like, like I couldn't explain it to you, but I was like tripping, like I was tripping so bad. Like, I just needed the cigarette and thank you so much. But anyway, what I was talking about. You guys asked me different question. We came to the story, so
I think this episode is just gonna be wandering around, dude. It's all good. No, but Rob asked was sorry. I always call you Rob. I know you don't like that. Robert asked like what in that trip. You hit a crossroads. Like what made you stay?
Yeah. Okay, so that night, anyway, so we were hanging right in the apartment. So I was just having fun. I'm on psychedelics, but I'm not having a deep trip, like not internal trip. Like I'm just still being around. Like I'm not deep in myself. You understand what I'm saying? And anyway, it was good. So it came at a point, like everybody like started going to their rooms, like so you got alone, and and I and I lay down on a bed. I don't know. I was just thinking about her, like and the last time when I told her that I was gonna go to Turkey, not gonna come back again, she said, "Okay, it's your decision." But she gave me a look, and that look was just like so bright, and I was like closing my eyes, and I was still seeing her eyes in my like head, like, and something was grabbing me, like something was like, "No, you have to stay here. Like this is the path." Like I don't know, man. It's just like some things you cannot describe it with words, right? But it's
I
like
get you.
it's deep inside you, something telling you something, and I don't know. I just listened.
Yeah, so it was something from like beyond this like physical realm that was telling you, it was calling out to you, a message, or it was just an image, or did you hear anything too?
I don't know, but it's like just talking about it, like my heartbeat is like increasing.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. So but you can remember that moment if you go back in your memory.
Oh yeah.
See it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can
But
even
not
you can
not
still feel it.
but
Sorry,
not all
go
the
ahead.
time. Since we're talking about it right now, like I can deeply feel it, but not all
That's
the time.
amazing.
You feel like you're walking with this feeling. It's not like that.
You could
No, but you're going as you recant the story. You start to relive that experience, and even listening, I could hear you. You almost were getting a little. You were on the fringe of getting a little choked up, I think.
Yo, man, I was like about to cry, man. I was like so
Yeah,
get emotional over that.
I could see it. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, it's. I guess for those who've never,
That's fantastic.
gotten. I mean, there's a big like committing to someone for potentially forever is a crossroads that I don't think everyone can relate to, except for those who have. And it is a big deal. Like now you have a child. Like you would not have had a child if you had not listened to that feeling and gone in a different direction. Your life would be, you would not have met any of us. You would, your family would not exist. So I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like people, like you said, like talking to your wife. It's like with psychedelics, is that it's a very powerful thing. Like that literally changed the course of your life, her life, your child's life, and then if your child marries and has kids, their lives. Like that one event potentially could change the course of hundreds of lives. It's kind of interesting how that stuff takes place.
Yeah.
Right. The littlest of moments can be very powerful over years if you look forward. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
Birch.
Yeah, no,
It's something deep, dude. Something
Yeah.
deep.
Well, when I did mushrooms with you, which was after that the first episode we recorded, I had one of those internal trips. You were in the stars, my friend. You were out there,
Oh my-
baby. You were behind the curtain. You went behind the curtain somewhere.
Oh, I did. For sure, for sure, I did.
Yeah, and I was going inside into the abyss. I was going down. But I've a lot of good things came out of that afterwards. Because sometimes it's like with the DMT stuff. Sometimes you got to confront things and not avoid it. And when you do psychedelics, it makes you confront things that you're holding inside. But that's the healthy part. At least I've found from it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think right. What is half of life is lying to yourself.
Yeah, bingo.
Right, we're lying
what
to
I was
ourselves all
thinking?
the time.
You know what I was thinking? Like you try to hold yourself up. You're trying to be strong all the time, right? Like
Right.
not be emotional, hide your emotions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take the psychedelics, you like, how can I express this? You don't need to be strong. You don't like, what is strong? You understand what I'm saying? Like, like you say this like ego, right? Ego, I guess. Like this just ego disappears and like
it pulverizes your ego. It just strips it completely.
Yeah.
So I remember, I guess we're kind of recanting our own previous experiences, but I remember, so I've known Burcin for a number of years now. We met when the three of us worked at a startup in New York. And I remember me and Burcin kind of got interested in psychedelics, and we went down the rabbit hole of growing mushrooms and that experience. So I remember when I did mushrooms in a larger quantity, and I think Burcin had already done this. So I'm going through this experience, and I think I've recorded this and talked about it. Maybe if I haven't, I need to. But I know Rob and I know Burcin have heard me talk about this. But anyway, so I'm going through this experience, and you go through a journey, right? They say I went through a journey, right? I went from heaven to hell in this experience. But when I was coming to, and reality is starting to set back in, and you know who you are, and you know that your surroundings, I was like overwhelmed with that feeling of like ego being destroyed. And I think I think Burcin was the first person I texted, and I told him I loved him. And it was the greatest thing, because Burcin's response was just, I know. It was like we were connected, because he knew I had told him that I was going to do this thing, and he knew I had come out on the other side, and he could relate. Because in that moment, when the ego is destroyed, right, you feel truly connected to everyone, to the world, to all those people whom you don't realize love you, but do, right? Because your ego kind of gets in the way. You're so focused on your own life that in that moment when the ego is destroyed, you're just like, you're aware and you're awakened. And I just remember that it was like such a, his response was so quick, was within seconds. It was just like, yeah, I know, I love you too. And it was like, it's just kind of a beautiful moment.
Special, man. Yeah, it's I'm gonna pull a little bit off of what you said. It's that if you realize how everything is connected. I don't mean to get into another Giorgio Tsoukalos universe is a one thing rant. I'm not gonna do that but I have been watching Ancient Aliens, the new season. I've been binging it. But anyway, we won't do that now. We need to do part 2 of Ancient Aliens. But you realize how everything is connected, and when you do psychedelics, that's when you feel connected. That's why it's good to be in nature. Can I ask, where were you? You were just walking around, right, when you were doing
me or Burcin?
No, you, Chris.
Oh no, I was in my room. I just did it in my room.
Oh, wow.
I locked the door for like 5 hours, and then I came out on the other end. Okay. But like I did it twice where I did a large quantity, and the second time I did it, I think I described this to someone, maybe to you, Robert, but it was like it was a dark trip, and I felt this. There was a moment in it, which is kind of interesting. You talk about, Burcin, you deciding
I know the story.
Yeah, deciding that this woman was the woman for you, right? And like a switch went off. So for me in that case, I had a similar experience where it wasn't a woman, but I made a pinnacle choice because of this. So in that experience I had, and I've recorded this, we've talked about this, but just to reiterate, it was where I thought there was a moment where I literally thought I was going to die. Like I was on my hands and knees. The only way I can describe it is when you read any ancient text where a person is describing being confronted by a god, a deity, like the awe and the fear that usually humans write down in response to those events. It doesn't matter what religion you believe in, but usually people who have described witnessing or coming close to that which is beyond them, it's like fear and awe and just terror. And I remember thinking I was going to die. Like I just had this experience. I thought any moment the switch was going to get flipped and I was going to die.
Were you scared or not?
Yes, I was very much terrified. Because I was like, I just thought like any moment this is going to go, and then people are going to find me here, and like my parents, my like people who love me, just like what happened? And I felt in that moment that I had not done anything worthwhile in my life worthy of like a good death. Like it would be like if the switch was flipped off right now, your life would have been wasted. It would have no value in the cosmic scales and just been useless. That was like terror, pure terror, where I was on my hands and knees. Like the best way, I was trying to make myself as small as possible, laid on my belly, like as meek as a human can possibly be, just like, for lack of better, praying that that the switch, would not be flipped, and that I'd get a chance to like make that life worthwhile. And it was like probably all in my head, right? All a psychedelic experience. But the moment I got back to reality, I pretty much signed up to move to India and go do some volunteer work. So, yeah, I mean, this stuff is powerful. Unreal. It's powerful things, man. Life's change when you're, I think, because it forces you to be confronted with reality, and also like mortality of like, oh shit, I get one shot at this.
Yeah,
go ahead, Rob.
That's the ending couldn't have been said better. Once you realize what mortality really is, we've talked about this several times too, so this is going to be like a recurring theme through this show. Death is not the end. There's nothing final in death. It's just a transformation. And when you realize that, which I've done with the help of psychedelics, it's an unmistakable like feeling of liberation. When you realize that mortality is just like a physical thing, but you're still you. You've always been you. You are you now, and you will always be you. We're all eternal. It's just in different ways. So yeah, that's psychedelics helps that. But let's get back to the pedicab stuff.
I don't know what we're going to be talking about. All kinds of stuff. So this is going to be just
because I love these stories. They're so hilarious.
Conversational parkour.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like so interesting though, because we started from pedicab, and it's like naturally it comes to the psychedelics. Like we don't do anything. Like
Well, yeah, it's when you put us three in the same conversation, that's what's gonna happen.
But you know what? I think is deeper than that. I think it's like because we've all had a pinnacle experience, and I would imagine if we put anyone in this room, this virtual room, who had a psychedelic experience, you're gonna come back to that event. Like I look at it as like anyone from ancient history who a prophet or whoever from any religion, you best believe that like if they came close to that which is like the celestial realm, that's coming up all the time. Like it can't not, because it's like you've touched something beyond this mortal coil.
Yeah, there's bigger forces at play. You were right, Burcin? Or did you just choke on something?
no, I just some cough. You know what's bad after psychedelics?
Yeah,
like next day or do like random things. Sometimes it's so meaningless. Like for example, like I'm talking about this, like you do psychedelics, you go to work. If you don't like your work, if you like need to work there, you feel like, oh my lord, like fuck, like I'm in a prison. I just realized it. Like, I just realized it. If you love something, of course you would go, but like it's so hard to go back to like the shitty thing that you need to do like in your life.
Yeah, so I have a question for you now, because a lot of water has passed under the bridge since. Because I remember there was a point where me and Burcin were microdosing, more Burcin than I, because it was too emotional for me. But Burcin would do this, and we were still working together. And he described this to me of like, you're coming to work, you're not really liking work, and it's kind of like you feel like it's meaningless. So my question to you now, though, is Burcin, that was before you had a family. You had your wife, but like you didn't have your son, and I wonder if your outlook would change now. Sorry, I'm pointing, but because you can't see me pointing. Because now it's like even the job you don't like has a purpose beyond that job. It's not about like your happiness, because like you're living now for your progeny to like be able to survive and to do well. So do you think that you would, like, after doing psychedelics, you'd come back to that job and feel the same way? Or do you think you'd be like, oh no, this is great.
The job I'm doing right now?
No, not now. I know you like your job, but like if you were still working where we worked at Juno.
In Juno? Yeah, I would feel the same, man. Like, dude, like I worked in jobs, right? Like you just been a part of a machine, like a one tool over there. It's not your thing. It's like you have a job, like somebody giving you something to do. Like some people would love it so much, and most of the people, the prison is the paid prison. So yeah, it would be the same for me, I guess. It doesn't matter family or not. Like family is family. I love my family, but if you're spending your 15 hours in the place that you don't want to be, same situation.
Did you starting your business have anything to do with psychedelics? I don't
Not
recall.
really. Not really.
Okay.
My business, how my business started, I didn't have much choice. I lost my job. I need to do something, right? And what's my options? I can go get hired. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a good job. Maybe I'll gonna be in prison again. But I mean, sometimes being in prison is cool too. Like, was a prison in some
Yeah,
ways, right?
in
Like it
some
was a fun
sense.
place. It was a fun place. It was a very good job, but it was not mine. It's like technically still prison, like paid
Yeah.
prison. But I made very good friends. So everything happens for a
Yeah.
reason. But to start my work, psychedelics, no, it's not related. Not related. I just need a job, and it's literally started like this. My work started like this.
Well,
my
sometimes
my father was sick. I came back from Turkey. My father was about to pass away. I lost my job. COVID hit. World collapse. So we sat down, like literally, like it's the moment. Like I'm not like exaggerating or anything. Like, we sat down with my wife. So what's our options? And she says, let's do please something ours. Like doesn't matter what. And I told her like we have no capital. How can we do business? says like, just fucking do candles, man. Please, like, just do something. Like, we can sell something. Like, people do this. I'm like, all right, let's try.
Wow. Yeah.
Flash
It was like
forward.
that.
That's
It's kind of
yeah.
psychedelic too, actually.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how like usually necessity is the fruit of invention, right? Like if you gotta
That's correct.
if you gotta figure out something to feed
Yeah.
yourself and your family, it's like, all right, we're gonna do. And you're right. Like, I mean, when it comes to sales, people buy everything. There's always, for any product, there's someone out there that wants to buy it.
My wife told me this, like, just do something and to do it best, like, do very good. I think people will buy it. People buy it anyway. They can buy it from you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well then. And
Go ahead, Robert. Give us something. What do we want to chat about?
I do have a question. So you were also a taxi cab driver, Burcin, and
Yeah, man.
I've heard this, and you might. Whoa, that was a little sexual there.
Go ahead. No worries.
There's whoa, no, I'm kidding. So there's
Go ahead, man.
I got you. So there's you can tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a significant number of cab drivers who have a dream that's similar to this. They want to own their own business, but what they do is they want to hope, and that's why they flood places like New York, not just because there's demand everywhere, but they want to meet a really rich person, whether it's an athlete, a celebrity, a finance person, whatever, and they want to give a really good experience. This is especially true for ride-sharing drivers. They want to give a good experience, and they want to become private drivers for that person. So that you don't need the taxi, you don't need the app. You just become a private driver for that person. And the reason why I bring this up is I read a story. There's a guy he lives in New York, and he's a personal driver for all the NFL players that live in New York. They all refer him to everyone. So Chris, he started as an Uber driver, and now he's making like $5,000 a week just driving athletes around Manhattan. That's all he does. And he owns his own business. And he owns his own business.
I can't believe that. If at the right moment, if you meet him with the right person and things just like spark, like that person likes how you drive and how you like behave, he can ask you. Like I like, for example, like when I was driving Uber or taxi, I got hired for a day, like in pedicab, for example, like some tourists. They got him with my pedicab. Oh, this is good. You know stuff. You're showing us stuff. Like let's go with you one day. Like day. Cool.
Yeah, his name is Danny Boy Hustle Hard, and he has his own like private car company. It's exclusively
Wait, what's his name? What's his name again?
Danny Boy Hustle Hard.
It's not a real name, I guess.
No, it's just like a street name. It's just like but he's now, but he also, on top of just the money and making a living off of it, a good one, he gets invited to all like these exclusive parties, so he's in the scene, like he's at all the award shows and stuff like that. So this man, I mean, he had a vision. It's like he wanted something for himself. He wanted it to be his own. And he did it.
I drove like luxury Uber car for like a year, I guess. Did I meet anyone famous? I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, it's just fortunate.
Maybe I did, but I don't know people. That's the problem. I have no idea about like no celebrity names or anything.
Yeah, and this was in New York, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't in Jersey. All right. Yeah, so I guarantee you did. I mean, they don't even have to be famous. They could be like hedge fund people that are super rich. Yeah.
So Burcin, now that you've lived. Okay, so Burcin, you lived in New York for a while, / North Jersey. Now you've moved to Florida. I don't think I think maybe you and I have talked about this just privately, but what have you? So you've been in Florida for a year now. Is that accurate?
No, it's like 1.5 years.
Okay, so about a year.
18 months.
So like, what has your experience been? Right. What are the positives that you? What did you gain? So it's kind of interesting. There's a bunch of people we know who've also moved to Florida. Many, actually. Many that we used to all work with. It seems that for many people who lived in New York, whether they'll admit it or not, they've become jaded by it, and then they fled. And many of them fled to Miami and to Florida. So I'm curious, like, as someone who lives in Florida, what is your take on Florida? And I know you like it. So, yeah, tell me about Florida.
So, first of all, why did I move to Florida? I need space, right? And it was expensive in New York. You know the situation. You go to Florida, it's like bigger houses, you pay less, and business.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, you know, we thought that it would be better for Mars, you know, to just, it's like, it's nicer around here where I live, if I can say that way. Like, it's just nicer, so you know, can he can grow up in better environments. That was the reasons that we decided to come to Florida. And also my wife, she spent some of her childhood in Siberia, so she fucking hates cold. And she's from Russia, so she's like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna go to tropical somewhere. So I'm coming to my 40s, I cannot take this cold anymore. I'm sorry. So anyway, so we came here, we moved here. Dude, Florida's good, great. You know, classic things. Summer hot, winter beautiful. Go outside right now, go to beach, you're good, everything's cool. But I'm so sorry if like someone listening us from Florida, or someone is Floridian. People here are cuckoo. Cuckoo. Like, they are interesting people. Floridians are interesting people. I'm not good at like choosing my words. I'm just gonna say interesting.
Yeah.
Wild, man. Wild people
way?
here, man. Wild people here, man. You can have
Nuts.
fight every day, man. You people can shoot each other here. Like, what the fuck is going on? Chill, relax. Like, I don't know if it's heat or not. Like, the driving crazy, acting crazy. Floridians are
Absolutely.
a wild people, man. I can say this. I'm immigrant, like, so I cannot offend anyone. You know, I'm not like, nobody can
Yeah,
judge me
that shit.
racist or whatever. Like, I have a card. Like,
No.
nobody call me racist. I'm an immigrant, fucker. So you call me racist. So it's like, Floridians are wild people, man. So
Yeah.
that's my first impression about Florida.
Now, are there
Can't
aspects
confirm.
of their wildness that you like? Like, for example, you left New York during
Mm,
COVID,
mm.
and part of the reason I imagine you moving to Florida was that the way they handled COVID was very different.
Oh yeah, man. I want to be in the state, like, who doesn't give a shit. Like, just leave me, like, just leave me alone, man. I'll live how I live. Like, whatever you say, I live how I live. So just shut up, you know. So Florida's the state, like, doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the pro and the con, right? If you live in a wild state, you're gonna get wild people, but you get the freedoms. Which, I mean, I know I visited Florida. I have family in Florida, and during the height of COVID, the way they handled COVID was very different. You went there, and it
I
was
wasn't
kind of
here
like,
though. I wasn't here though. I was here at the end of COVID. Like, I spent most of
okay,
COVID in New Jersey though.
yeah, it was very, very, very
Yeah.
different. Well, I mean, Robert, you spent
Oh, I
almost the
spent the
whole
whole
of
time
COVID
there.
there.
I can't confirm what Burcin said. They're insane. Even during the height of it, like, I would say, when was the biggest? Like May or June 2020, where it was no one knew what was going on. Everyone was crazy. You can go to Publix, which is the grocery store in Florida. It's like like a food town or something.
Yeah, like a shop,
Yeah,
right? If
yeah,
you're on the East
exactly.
Coast.
Yeah, it's not one of the like the local ones. It's like it's a big brand. And I forgot my mask once. This is when there were strict laws where the police would stop you if you don't have mask, like that time. But Florida, they didn't care. I said I apologized to the cashier. I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot my mask in the car. And she goes, "Don't worry, I don't care. I'm not wearing a mask either. I'm not going to." So
I love it.
yeah, she was just like, "I don't give a flying fuck." So it's all good. But,
Yeah,
and I was like,
love
"Yep,
it.
I'm not in New York anymore." I knew that. But yeah, so they also opened everything early. There was Burcin. There were ayahuasca trips in Orlando. You could do an ayahuasca trip in the middle of COVID.
That's great, man. That's great. Let
Yeah,
people
man,
whatever fuck they want to
retreat.
do, man. Like, what?
Yeah, and
But
it was severely discounted too. I should have taken advantage of that. Now the price is like doubled what it was.
Go ahead, Burcin.
Dude, this ayahuasca thing is it's a new tourism too, man. It's like my friend of mine was checking trips to Peru,
Yeah.
Peru,
and
yes.
they're quite expensive, man. It's like
Oh yeah,
you're going into like, and it's not like a 1 day trip. It's like you're spending a week over there. It's like they're
Yeah.
prepping you. They do it, and then after it, yeah.
Yeah, so I know someone who just went to Peru to do it, and yeah, it's you're gonna do it multiple times, but yeah, it's become kind of a, like you said with Turkey being like a health tourism. Peru and some of these South American countries have kind of, they know that Westerners want to do ayahuasca, so they've created resorts and these week-long trips and nice hotels. You're gonna eat good, and they're gonna lead you through this process. Yeah, I would like to. I had a close friend who did ayahuasca and was telling me about the experience. It could be very daunting. It seems like it could be a very frightening experience.
Yeah, because
I'm a pass.
It's so long, the trip. That's why
I'm a pass.
It's DMT, which you've done DMT, but just imagine DMT but deeper and longer.
Yeah.
They say it's like doing 6 years of like deep, intense psychotherapy, but you're doing it in like
a crash course. Yeah.
Oh, or is it PR? Because it's so commercialized right now.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like, what was his name? You guys know who the guy's name is. McKenna, right?
Terrence McKenna.
So his brother, the one that's still alive, he talked about ayahuasca, and he said it's like the way Westerners think about ayahuasca is very wrong. Like the ancient peoples and like the peoples of the Amazon, they saw it as just as a way to find lost things. Like the way he described it would be like you've lost like your keys, and you're trying to figure out where they are. Like a shaman might help you with ayahuasca, and it would help you like figure it out. It wasn't meant to be like this, like spiritual, deep, like find your center thing. That's kind of like
it's like
PR.
It's like this. Like you're taking a pill and you're losing the weight, right? Like Westerners, again, same mentality. Let's go fix everything in 1 week. Come back. I'm a new person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, good luck. It's gonna help you, I guess. But you're the person you are.
Yeah. Or it's like nothing that there's no easy solutions to big problems, right? Like if you're trying to change your life, you can change it. But anyone that's trying to say that you can change it in a day or a week is usually lying to you. It's like getting in shape. You could be 300 pounds and get in shape. But if someone tells you they can get you in shape in a week, it's like, you're lying to me. How is that even possible? Yeah, that's like the world nowadays, man. The world is very crazy in that respect of it's like everyone, it's probably not even nowadays. It's probably always been this way. But the idea of instant gratification and like quick solutions is like it's sold everywhere. Like go online and get this advice from this person and it'll change your life. Like how often will you see that same phrase from everyone? It's kind of a crazy thing. I have a question for you guys. Have any of you watched, there's like an Indian guy, he was on Joe Rogan, he's a bunch of different places, I forget his name, it's like Saju something.
I've watched that episode.
Okay. Have you listened to him talk at all?
No. I did.
In other areas?
I did.
What do you think? He's an interesting guy. Some of the things
he's very interesting, man. He's very interesting. He's like I don't remember everything he says. He was talking about like this topsoil that was very, very important for the world. This is the guy what you're talking about. Like he at the end of the episode, like they were talking about the topsoil because the world is losing the topsoil, and we gotta save the soil. He has an organization for that.
Does he have a long white?
Yeah. It's how do you call him? It's Indian guy, guru guy.
Yes, that's the guy.
Yeah, the guru guy. Yeah. He has some interesting ideas. Like one thing because as you asked, I watched that episode and I decided to watch this guy because he sounds interesting. I don't know. I watched some lectures he gives, and I was doing stuff, so I didn't fully focus on him. But he's like one of the things he says, like I cannot rephrase it. I cannot explain it right now, but he explained it in such a way that the new generation, like, we want to know everything. We want to be informed with everything. We check Google constantly. He explained so good, like, that we don't need this. Like, it's not like natural state of human beings. I cannot explain it well right now, but it's affected me. So yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, he said something.
It's cool.
I mean, it might be even the same thing you're talking about, but he said something to the effect of like, nowadays people want to, like, they brood, like, like everything, like everything is serious, and even if nothing is going wrong in your life, you like create all of these things that are wrong. Like you're,
Yep.
like the smart person is worried, and all, like, you're essentially creating all of these weights that you put on you that are really like figments of your imagination. Like he was talking about pain and how like people
Yeah.
are under all this mental pain, and he's like this, but like it doesn't exist. Like, what are you talking about? Like, for example, talking about, like, I think giving an example would be like worrying about things that like happened in the past, and many people talk about, but like these stressors of the past or things in the world, and like all of these things that like you're taking ownership of that are really not there. Like they're not in this moment in time, which is all you have. They're not a thing. So why are you making them a thing? Like, I'm paraphrasing poorly, but that struck me. I thought that was like interesting because it's true. It's like people brood about problems that are not problems right now or don't really affect them. And it's like they're creating their own suffering. That was the point he was making. He's like, people are creating their own suffering.
That's true.
Like, it's one thing to be living in a prison camp where people are actually making you suffer, right? That's real suffering. Someone is making you suffer. But how there's this epidemic of people making themselves suffer, and it's like they're choosing suffering. And that was something when he talked about, I was like, that's very true. It's like, right, like we live in America for the most part. None of our day-to-day lives are very stressful. None of you are working. We have stress, but we're eating well. I don't see any of us like that are skin and bones. Like, we have shelter, we have cars, we're relatively healthy. Like, we're good in the grand scheme of things. Yet people like create reasons to suffer for no, like, that don't exist. I thought that was interesting. I was like, that's true. Like, that's a good commentary on life right now.
It's very true. But I also feel there's a couple of things I want to say. I think there's what's terrible about that is, yes, you're creating your own like bad mood basically, but for the people that are actually going through like mental issues, it makes the people that are actively looking for things to suffer about. But some of that it's what I always say about social media and, like you said, the new modern digital world. It's a lot of it is cosmetic. They're just doing it just because they want attention, or it's like everyone, what's the saying? Everyone wants to be rich, but they want to say that they grew up poor, because it's infinitely cooler, in quotation marks, to say you came from nothing and you worked your way up than to be born completely rich. And so that's why you see all these like musicians and athletes, they talk about how they never had anything, and all of them, it's true. Like for the majority, I think it's true. But there's some people that started off with a significant advantage, but then it'll come out in stories where they suffered when they were children when they really didn't. So a lot of it is like that fake social media. I want to be outraged, or I actually came from like the hood of the Bronx and look where I am now. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like things like that. But I think all that belittles when people are actually suffering. So it's hard to like sift through all that. So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That makes sense. You get what I'm saying, right?
Well, yeah, you're kind of saying is that there's people who are legitimately, for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, having mental hardships, whether it's a chemical imbalance,
Right.
emotional, who knows, right? I think most cases, the physical and the mental, emotional are one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a hormonal imbalance, like you could be thinking thoughts you would have never thought, and like those are people with a tangible issue. And then there's a lot of people nowadays who are kind of like out of boredom,
You're right. They're
Dude,
creating their own.
creating things.
we still new, man. We still new. We are the generation we know before the internet, man.
It's just,
Things were changed. Things were different, man. It's been not long time ago. It's been like not even a lifetime. You know, I remember. So
Yeah, the one.
we were much happier. We forgot, man. We like we have a short memory, man. The humans like short memory, man. It's fucked up. We cannot remember anything. I wish we had a button like we can just play this one, play this one. Oh, this was good. Play twice like this.
You mean like your memories?
Yeah, man, that would be so cool, dude.
Like a memory YouTube, you could just go, you
Yeah,
could just
man.
look up.
Can you imagine like you just like you just like replay all?
I would love
"Alright,
that.
Let's go to that moment. Yeah, I would stay there. That's the problem, though. You know, if there's a
There's-
so good
well,
moment.
There's a Black
Correct.
Mirror episode. So there's a, you guys know what Black Mirror is?
Yeah.
It's a,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. They have a episode specifically like that. You have a device and you can go back in your memory and watch what's happening.
That's scary device, man.
Yeah,
Whoever owns this, you know,
yeah.
that's Elon Musk, man. That's
Yeah.
the guy.
Well, that's the. I mean, he's essentially building something that would give you that ability, right? The Neuralink.
Yeah.
The Neuralink would give you access.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, Elon.
No,
I was just gonna say. I'm gonna say this. That fucker will have the switch like in his hand in one day in the future. You know, like he will have a switch. Like, all right, guys, I want you to be happy right now. Everybody dancing. You know, all right, go sad. Everybody's crying.
Yeah, he's moving mad right now. You see what he's doing with Twitter? He fired like 80 people or 80% of the workforce. He's moving with the madness right now.
It's very interesting to see what
that dude
happens.
is dangerous, man. We too much love him. That's the danger. Everybody loves him too much. We don't know the guy. Why we love him? You know,
well,
why he's cute though. He's cute. He's lovable. That's why.
He's getting a lot of shit though in the media.
I would say his love is probably on the decline right now.
Yeah.
Which makes me like him. Whenever the media doesn't like someone, I tend to like them more. So I tend to go the opposite direction.
The anti-heroes are outright villains. Yeah.
Maybe here's the project, you know?
Maybe he's an alien like Nikola Tesla was.
I don't give him that much credit. I don't give him that much credit, man.
I
think my thing with Elon is I think he shows you. I think we tend to like idolize people who are we identify as very smart. When in reality, I think they showcase what you can do if you really just like put all of your energy into certain things. Like Einstein, I like a great quote of Einstein is like, "I'm no smarter than anyone else. I just focus on problems much longer." And like, I think there's a lot of truth in that. Like Da Vinci, someone wrote a book about Da Vinci, like a biography, and it was kind of Da Vinci talking about said the same thing in essence. It was like he just never stopped learning. And imagine if you spent 80 years just like never stopping. Like I'm just going to keep going and keep learning, and like I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not going to like watch YouTube videos, which I do. I'm not going to like do these little things that are just like time chewers. Anyone, even the less of us, can do a lot in their life. It's just nowadays we're just so absorbed with entertainment that it's just so easy to let days and weeks slide by. Like Burcin is probably a good example. Now that Burcin has a job, he doesn't get paid by the hour, guaranteed. I would imagine how hard Burcin works is infinitely more than when he worked at Juno.
Are you serious? Yeah, man. Like
hell yeah.
Okay, my weekly life, right? I wake up every day like early. I'm trying to be there at like I come back around 6. So I do the 6 days a week. Yeah, pretty much how you describe it. But
and when you're not at work, you're probably thinking about something. Okay, that's an interesting idea. I could try that. I could try this. I could.
To have a business, it's cool. It sucks, like everything. But if I have a choice, I would still choose what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the misconception with. I know I talked to someone who was a business owner, like a fairly many successful businesses, and one thing he always used to say was, the highest highs and the lowest lows come from owning your own business. His best days and his worst days were running his businesses, because when you succeed big, and you're very happy, but you're going to have a lot of bad days as well, because it's pretty much you sink or swim by your cunning and your intellect and your work ethic.
Yes, and there is no walls like surrounding you. Like when you're in the office, there is always a coworker who's doing something behind you. Like there is always like, and it's not your place. There is always walls. There is limited amount of things you can do because there is always managers and whatever. If even you are committed to this job, like you still have barriers to around it. But when you do your thing, man, your decision is wrong. Your decision is.
Yeah, I like that.
So here, as we start to wind down this episode, I want to go into this direction, since we don't talk to you frequently, Burcin. Where do you see, like, if you had to make a prediction, right? You're 40 years.
Job interview. What's this? What's going on?
No.
How do you see yourself in 5 years?
I hate that question. Whoever asked that question is the biggest loser. Interview.
Yeah, dude. First of all, this question is 20 years old. Change it, motherfucker.
Yeah,
come on, change it. Like, change it.
You're complete bellend if you ask that question. That means you basically say, you know what how I'm gonna prepare for my interview. As the interviewer, I'm gonna Google interview questions. That's what that person did.
Well, let's be honest.
You do your job good. You do your job good, and then come ask me questions, motherfucker.
Right? Bingo. Yeah. 5 years.
Okay.
But by the way, you guys curse, right? You guys curse, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Right.
Wait, say
you're an immigrant, so you have the card. You could throw that
wait,
out.
wait.
I didn't know.
I didn't get what you said. What was that?
No, I said, do you guys curse, right? Like in the podcast.
Oh, do I swear? Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah. I swear a lot.
It's okay.
But people swear. Fuck that. We all swear. I don't give a shit.
It's our natural state, man. We swear. Yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
Well, and there's certain words, swear words, and they do have such a nice sound and are so useful in so many situations.
Dude,
what's
Turkish,
your favorite?
In my language, there are some things you cannot express yourself without swearing. You gotta put that emphasis by swearing over there. You gotta put that. It's actually English, same thing. If you want to emphasize something, you gotta put that fucking thing over there. It gives you a feeling like you cannot hide it. I mean,
that's why there
are some situations you gotta be polite, but if you don't need to be polite, you gotta fucking say that, man.
So in Turkish, because you're also coming from a Muslim country, how do they deal with swearing? Like, is that a issue? Is that against the religion, or is it no? It's like that's perfectly fine.
I don't think it's about. You know what's interesting? Some Asian religions, right? They don't have swear words, man. They have no swearing words in their languages. So interesting, right?
Really?
It is.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think there is a thing like that. Like in some cultures, they don't swear at all.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Like, they gotta improve their languages for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised. I would think that there's every language, I would imagine, has like words
probably
when you say them, they're fighting words. Like
I
don't know, your mother was, I don't know,
I think she
impregnated
told
by a
me,
billy
like,
goat.
I think I dated a girl. She told me she was from Bhutan, like close to Tibet, like
yeah.
Oh shit! What's the name of the?
Yeah, Bhutan.
Bhutan.
Yeah. I think that's the country.
It's It's a
beautiful country.
It's I thought it's an island, right?
No, it's
not.
No, it's like mountainous.
All right, sorry.
And I think it's hard to get into. I don't think you can really travel to it very easily.
No, she was here for work and travel, man. I don't know. Something wrong there.
Oh, no, she was coming here. I don't know how easy it would be for you to go there.
Anyway. How did you come to this? I'm sorry again.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We've been wandering this episode. This episode has no point or meaning. It's just been we're on the sea of conversation.
Yeah, but
so Burcin, though, as we wind down, what are some final thoughts you wanted to talk about?
Me?
Yeah, you, man.
You want me to talk about things?
Well, I want you to
tell a story, man.
Give us your
That's what I want.
A final tale.
Fuck.
I'm the guest here, man. I'm here to get questions. Let me see. What should I say? Word peace? Like something? I don't know, man. What to say? Well, I wish word peace too.
Would you? I have a question for you. Then, would you, if you ever moved back to New York, just for fun, just for shits and giggles, would you get back in the pedicab for like a week?
Well, if you turn me 25 again, yeah, I would.
Oh,
not in my 40s, dude. Not in my 40s, dude.
Not like, just for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Just inject me something for 6 hours, like what you say, like 1 week or whatever. Like inject me something, and I would feel, and I would look 25, and I'll do pedicab for like 1 week for sure.
So we need to get you on a diet of steroids, the type of steroids that the superhero movie actors are on, and then you would do the pedicab for a week.
That's too much. That's for pedicab, I guess.
Yeah, you come back, he's looking like Chris Hemsworth and Thor. Yeah. Your wife's like, "What happened?" I did the pedicab.
I just want to do pedicab for a weekend. You know how I turn
out. Or when because pedicab is so fascinating to me, just the culture, the life. If I did a pedicab documentary, would you be a panelist? Would you come on and talk about it?
Oh yeah,
as a panelist,
not, dude. Of course. I'll hook you up, man. Like I'll get you on pedicabs. I still have friends over there. So.
I show up with my resume and it just says referred by Burcin Canoglu. That's it.
Yeah.
Just hand it to the closest Turkish person I find.
So going back,
should do that, by the way. Like
I should do it.
One New Yorker will do this one day because it's a part of New York. One New Yorker will do this one day. Be the one.
I could be the one, and then I'll film it for content.
That's not a bad idea, dude. That'd be kind of interesting.
It would be
hilarious. All there. You could easily just go and ask. Yeah, I'm surprised that no one's ever done.
There are some things. There are some videos, but as far as I know, I still get emails. I am still in groups. Like I get some information.
You see, he can get me in.
yeah, man. I have contacts still. No worries. Yeah, dude. Yes. I spent years over there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but
I believe
what I was gonna say. Yeah, there are some videos. I think there was this comedian Conan. What's the famous comedian?
Oh, Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. Yeah. He shot something on pedicab. Like he came to the studio on pedicab or something like that.
Okay.
He did that, and some New York Times episodes, like articles, was there, but nobody like did a documentary, which can be done. It's part of it, man. There's a lot of things over there going on. Like you can. There is millions of not millions. Like how exaggerated I am. So there's like a lot of pedicab drivers, right? And they have so interesting stories, man. They all came from somewhere.
That's what I want.
I knew a guy who was sleeping in the pedicab, and there are some like weird people over there. Like there's some students, some people like. What I see was like most of the students was doing this and immigrants, and whoever does this, like Americans, how can I say this?
Is it gonna look weird if I'm American?
Losers. Okay, loser Americans was doing this. Like I don't know. I wasn't so sure.
Burnouts.
Whatever you call, like some trash people. I don't want to call like color trash, but like any color trash people, you know. Like
yeah. Well, I'll fit right in then. I'll fit right in.
Well, no, because you're right. The people who are doing pedicabs, most of them are coming from another country.
Yeah.
So it's like this is a good job, but if you're from here, it's kind of like, why are you doing this job? Because you wouldn't do this job if you were born here.
No, I'm doing it for the comedy. It's like when remember when Tim Dillon was the red buses, Burcin? You guys, the tour buses in New York, right by the Empire State Building,
double deckers, yeah.
Correct. He did that for like 2 years.
Oh yeah,
he was the guide. So he was the guy like cracking jokes.
I see.
Guiding you around, yeah. and he used it as like a to hone and practice his stand-up comedy, and then he became a famous stand-up comedian.
I knew a guy actually who was pedicab driver, and he was also stand-up. Whatever. I watched him. I was doing
Cool.
pedicab, and also meantime he was doing.
Oh yeah, he was probably practicing in the pedicab with the customers. Absolutely.
Probably.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So Burcin,
Yeah,
give us
hell yeah.
to round this off. Give us one story of your
About-
pedicab days,
Yeah, that's
Just
that's
one.
what I came here for.
and that will be how we round
Yeah.
off this episode.
Oh, he took off his shirt.
I love how he took off his
Yeah.
shirt.
He's getting hot here, man.
The heat is going up.
Let me see. I like thousands of them, but you know, when you get asked, and
It's
you guys
hard,
told me,
yeah.
but you guys told me, but I didn't like really like
Mhm.
go deep in my mind and see like memories.
Wait, I do have one. Maybe this will help you. Did you drive mostly during the day, or did you do it mostly at nighttime?
All right, I have a story.
There you go.
All right, so
We're
okay, okay. I was in my second year. Was I? Yeah, I was in my second year.
I love how this is like a college. I was in my second year, sophomore year. Yeah.
Sophomore. So anyway, that time I was driving pedicab, and usually afternoons I was drinking something, right? Like some, cup of whiskey, whatever. Like put on my pedicab, driving around,
Yeah.
like little drunk.
Fucking rights. Yeah.
I was young and stupid, whatever. So I parked in front of a liquor store, right? And I went in there. I was gonna get something to drink. I was not drunk all the time, but like I'm drinking like here and there.
Yeah.
And
Get a
I saw this. What is that drink? The green one. Genie
Hypnotic.
comes. Oh, no.
Genie comes out.
Eurotrip. Did you watch Eurotrip? What?
Oh yeah. Absinthe.
Absinthe. Yeah, absinthe.
The genie.
Okay. Yeah.
The fairy.
The fairy.
You
So
drink. You see Robin
saw-
Williams. Sorry, go ahead. You see Robin Williams or you drink absinthe. Go ahead. Okay.
No, I think in this Eurotrip there was a scene like that. Like they were in a
Yes.
bar, they drinking absinthe, the genie comes up, like something like that. Whatever.
Yeah. I remember Michelle Trachtenberg. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to the liquor store, I saw the absinthe, and I'm like, give it to me. And anyway, I bought it. And I start drinking, and it's my second time drinking absinthe.
Give it to me.
And yeah, pretty much. So first time I drank it, I got blacked out, right? Blacked out. And this
You're
time I drank it, I was okay. And then I met a girl, like a young girl, like my age, right? And at that moment, everything got black. No, nothing. And I woke up, and I'm in a Turkish restaurant on 14th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues, like on the 14th Street on the left side, on the south side. There's a Turkish restaurant over there. I forgot the name.
That's where Flanders is.
Yeah, and I open my eyes, and there's a girl in front of me. I don't know who is it. Who is she? Like I have no idea. And we eating meatballs, Turkish meatballs, right? And I go like, who are you? And she looked at me so weird. Like she looked at me like, am I crazy or like I don't know? Because I was talking with her, like I was telling stories, talking about meatballs, Istanbul. She's like, after she told me, you were talking about everything. You don't remember anything? Like no idea who you are. Like I have no idea how I came here. She told me like, you put me on your pedicab. We drove from uptown to like 14th Street. Like we had a lot of fun in the pedicab. Then we decided to like eat some food. You said like, let's eat Turkish food. We came to the restaurant, and you just waking up and asking like who you are. Like she's like,
that's hilarious.
Who are you? Like what's going on here? Because she says like, I explained to her like, this is situation, what happened? Like, I just drank something. Or like, she's like, you were okay, like you were not like drunk or anything, like you were just acting normal. I don't know what happened. Like,
Wow.
just, this is like every time when I 3 times in my life, like I drank this thing, and every time this is what happened. Like I blacked out and I woke up somewhere. Like I woke up once in a movie theater. I have no idea how I came there. I have a hamburger in my hand, McDonald's hamburger. I'm in a movie theater. I don't know what movie I'm watching. No idea. Like it's not really about pedicab, but it's related to pedicab.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just remember that.
How big of the bottle of absinthe did you get?
Oh, it was small, man. It was
It's like a
fucking
little
small,
one,
dude.
yeah.
I don't know. I think something in me is
It's
just like
yeah.
clicks with this, like whatever is in there. So I'm not gonna do it again, but
That's awesome.
She was probably having a great time.
She was probably having.
This was a great New York experience.
Yeah,
dude, she was
probably
okay,
woke
man.
up.
We just having like some like we dating kind of like we having like
Yeah.
some meal together.
Oh yeah,
whatever,
you
like,
definitely would have got a second date until you said, "Who are you?"
yeah, man. I failed
Dude,
over that.
that's the craziest thing about like consciousness is that part of you that makes you was running.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Part of you was gone.
Yeah, man. But
I mean,
it happens,
like
but it happens with regular alcohol too, right? People do stuff and they don't remember the next day.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very common though, right? But-
yes.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing.
I've blacked out once or 15 times in my 20s, so I know what you're talking about. But Chris, did you say last week you were like, when was the last time I got like proper drunk? It's been a while for you.
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I can recall blacking out definitely in like college and
Yeah,
right
same,
before
same.
college. But yeah, it is just a crazy thing how like part of you is always in control because it's protecting you. It kind of like keeps you safe to a degree. But the other part of you that's like it's weird how your consciousness can split. Part of you is running.
Yeah.
But the part of you that's really you is just gone off on a trip somewhere. It's gone to sleep. And then eventually they kind of just come back into sync. And you realize you're like, oh, good thing you kept me alive.
Yo,
There's a body to come back to.
I was reading something about this. I don't remember the details, but long story short, some people dies and they do something medically after the heart stops, right? And they come back after like some time, like 15 minutes or whatever. And many
Yeah.
people have experiences like see everything.
Like
the
a near-death
operation room. No,
Yeah.
not like near. Like, I don't know if it's
Oh,
if it's
Out
the-
of body experience.
out of body. Like yeah. So
Yeah.
they see the operation room and everything, and it's like we are unable to explain this. Like how is that? Like so, in the summary, they were thinking like consciousness and the body, different things.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a good.
Or that it's like a balloon,
Yeah.
right? And it's like outside of you, kind of floating with you as you
Mhm.
move through the
That's,
world.
yeah, that's a good description. I have a
Yeah.
quick.
Go ahead, bro.
I have a quick blackout story, Burcin. This one took place in Florence, Italy. So I was abroad, which makes it more dangerous because I was 20 years old and I was in a foreign country. It's ridiculous. So we went.
It's like,
There's
Oh my
like you,
God, I'm
kind of
sorry.
like you, kind of like you, but like the
I was gonna
reverse.
say, I was gonna say.
Like the inverse of you. Yeah. So there's a football bar called Lion's Fountain right by the Duomo. It's like a 5-minute walk to the Duomo. It's like in the center by the Arno River in Florence, and where all the big art galleries are, like the Uffizi and all like that main square. And so they show football there. You can do like karaoke. So it was definitely catering to Americans. And it was the only Irish style pub in Florence. So you can get Guinness there. They didn't really have like cocktails. It was only mixed drinks and beer. It was like a proper football bar. It's a pub. And went there with like 4 of my friends, and there was a group of girls that we knew who went to University of Massachusetts. They were also studying abroad in Florence. So we were like, there was like 10 of us drinking. It's like you said, Burcin, drinking. But then when you're in college, you start drinking like fucking Animal House drinking. So you start chugging beers, doing like dropping shots into the beer and drinking them. I was dropping whiskey. Yeah, crazy.
Wild stuff.
Wild. So my last memory is singing. I believe I was singing Phil Collins at the bar. I was singing. It wasn't Phil Collins. It was a Genesis song. I was singing like I think what the song. It was like "Home by the Sea" by Genesis. That's my last memory. Then the next thing I knew, I was in someone else's apartment in the shower with my clothes on, with the shower running on me. So it was like I'm completely drenched, and I had a t-shirt. I wore a button-up shirt that was gone. That was on the floor with vomit all over it, and I was just getting drenched by the shower. And then when I came out of the bathroom, my friend told me what happened. Apparently, it's like you were saying, Chris, like you were still functioning. So I went back to their apartment under the precursor to smoke weed. So obviously I'm like, yeah, let's definitely want to do that. So walk with them. I walk in, but then I start bouncing off the walls. Like there's a hallway. And he said, you were throwing up on yourself, but you were tracking the vomit all over the walls because I was like bumping into the hallways. So I was smearing it all over the hallway. And then instead of walking into the bathroom, I walked into my other friend's room. He didn't come up that night, so he was sleeping. I just barged into his room. And I walked over to the foot of his bed and I just stood there and I scared the shit out of him because he thought it was like an intruder just like barging in and it's gonna like harm him. And he was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Because it was like pitch black. And I was like, and I don't even remember what I said. And he goes, then he like guided me into the shower, took my shirt off, left the puke stained shirt on the ground, and then I woke up in shame in the like getting drenched. Like my jeans were ruined, sneakers were ruined. You just had to throw everything out when I got home. I walked home.
How old were you?
20. I walked home at like 6:30 in the morning in Florence, Italy. It's a weekday, so everyone's going to work with dripping with water, with just completely covered in soaked clothes, and a vomit stained shirt. Walking back to my place. Shame.
Yeah, it's like the balloon that is you kind of went away and then somehow it got caught back to the body.
Yeah,
it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, but the funniest part is like barging into and waking him up, and like he was scared because he thought it was like some guy coming to kill him.
Well, it's like people who sleepwalk.
I know exactly.
That's dangerous too, right? That's dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous.
They just like the body. Imagine being like a 200-pound person and you're just not consciously there. And this 200-pound.
Have you guys seen anyone like sleepwalking?
I have never witnessed anyone sleepwalk.
You did?
Have you?
I have. Yeah.
I never seen one.
It was in college. It was in college. Yeah. He was.
What happened?
There's. We lived in a dorm that had 4 people, which is crazy. That now that I'm older now, think about living with 3 other dudes. It was just wild. So in a small space. So I remember waking up one night to use the bathroom and he was just standing over the sink. And I thought he was sick or something. I thought he was going to throw up. So I'm like, "Are you okay?" But then his eyes were closed. And I go, yeah, he told me sometimes does that. So he just, it wasn't anything like nefarious. He just walked over. I just saw him standing in front of the sink.
Wait, eyes are closed or open?
Closed. And
how do they walk though with closed eyes?
Yeah, I don't know. It's some other sense. It's some universal sense.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's very weird. So instead of helping him immediately, I rocked the piss first. I was like, let me take care of this first, and then I like guided him. Like I turned him around by his shoulders, and I started like walking with him slowly. He was walking, man. I wasn't carrying him or anything. He was walking.
No, because they're alive. They're awake in a sense.
Yeah,
it's just that they're not
He should have told
here.
you in advance, man. If you're living with someone, he should have told you in advance. I do this sometimes. Why you fucking scaring me like that?
Man.
3 a.m. in
Yeah,
the
he was
night.
just like standing over the sink, dude. It was crazy.
Just told me like when we moved in, you know, that I'd sometimes sleep in my dream. Okay, cool.
I thought he was legitimately sick, so I was like he was gonna throw up, but then I saw his eyes closed, and I was like, oh, I think I know.
Well, I mean, what about people who go outside?
Yeah,
they
that's
walk
crazy. I've never seen that.
You go around their house. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anyone who sleepwalks. I think the only person I know. Yeah, I've never seen anyone. And they say that you're not supposed to wake someone up. You're really supposed to do what you did, guide them
back to the bed,
kind of just move them back along.
So
yeah, it's so weird that like with human beings, like for however long we've been around, like there's certain things that are still a mystery, like sleepwalking, right? People have been around for a long time. People have been sleepwalking for a long time. No one can really explain what that state is. Like, what is sleepwalking? Why does the human sleepwalk? Why is that even a possibility?
Yeah.
And how do you manage it around, man? How do you manage it with your senses? That's what I don't understand. Because in that case, you need to have a kind of a sonar, radar kind of thing, right? Like some.
Yeah.
Well, it's also you know where you're going. So like, I wonder this: like, if you put a chair in it, like a blind person kind of memorizes the layout.
That's right.
The layout. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that's what sleepwalking is. So if you put a chair somewhere unexpected, would a sleepwalker bump into it, or would a sleepwalker just move the chair out of their way and keep doing what they're doing? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Dude,
I don't know. We can't really.
Yeah, man, it's a weird question.
Dude, consciousness is a crazy. It's a crazy thing. Like you blacking out.
Mm-hmm.
Was that you or was that not you?
I don't know. I
can't. Like, are there two yous? Is there body you and there's mind you? And then if the mind goes away, the body you takes over. But they're kind of the same, but they're not. Like, what if you found out your personality was different?
You're going deep, man. You're going deep.
I don't know.
I think
like she's like, yeah, you were talking about all these serious subjects and
I think that answer would have to be yes for me. I tend to yell a lot when I'm in that state. Very heated.
Yeah, it's weird stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on about almost an hour 30. Any final thoughts? We just talked about this was a catch-up episode.
Pretty
Actually,
much.
It was nice.
Campfire.
Well, I enjoyed it a lot. Thanks for having me tonight. And
of course.
Yeah, man, come back.
I enjoyed it.
We'll get you in for another one, and we'll have a subject to talk about.
Yeah, man, give me something. You just keep me talking about my, deep stuff. It was good though.
No, that's great.